have a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes. You wanna do
I'll second. I'll second. Any errors, omissions, or comments on it? Thank you. Let's see if you got anything back for the East Fairfield parking.
East Fairfield parking.
Fire on the corner there.
I didn't hear anything, no. I sent a letter to the property owner and told her to get the car out of the road.
I've been by a couple of times and they haven't, at those 2 times, they haven't been parked in the road. So whether it had an effect or not, I'm not sure. But
I just told her it's a safety hazard and if the car's parked in the right of the town right of way.
it's literally 2 of the wheels are on.
He's the one that did the
Now,
before.
when they park it, they put a wooden fence out and it's been so close.
Yep.
There's no way somebody can park in
Need
it.
to move the fence, right?
They need to put the fence back about at least 4 feet if they hope to have anybody park in that area.
What does that mean, tree work?
So,
It means you gotta go to forestry school and get fully educated on this one.
Dave knows all about that.
Okay.
so I said, we've received several complaints about your tenant parking in the town right of way on the curb outside your home. As you know, there's a significant amount of traffic on that road, including milk trucks. One milk truck had a close call recently because of the vehicle in the roadway being a line of sight restriction and limiting space on the curb. Our traffic ordinance specifically restricts parking on New Street. I've included a copy of the ordinance for her. Address this with your tenant at your earliest convenience so we can avoid a potential problem. But I didn't hear anything from her.
Well, the good part is they're duly informed, legally informed.
And I copied it to the complaint people.
Any other errors or omissions or comments on the minutes? All those in favor of them? No vote for them, no town clerk. Town administrator.
The town administrator has COVID. And it's not coming. The substitute town administrator did test negative this morning. Thank you. But he's
Did you
still
bring
masking.
paperwork to verify this?
No.
Did you test for, did you have some proximity to exposure or just?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did?
He was positive.
So I was teaching ice water rescue with for the academy last weekend on Lake Lamazine and ended up getting it.
Oh, you did?
Wow. So I was out of work last week, but then Monday tested negative. So, but fully vaccinated, still got it. So, it's bound to happen to the rest of us.
severe, right?
No, I mean, I guess I didn't get it without a vaccine, so I couldn't tell you if it was less severe, but.
No, but I mean, that's the chances of it.
Yeah,
You're not dead.
not that, it was a
Like
mild.
lots of other people.
Mild runny nose, that was it.
Cool.
Yep.
Do you have some business or you just for?
Well, there's her thing, her pile of things. This thing needs signing.
Those are the easements.
That's just the easements?
Yep.
All right, then she's got a pile of other
That one
stuff.
and that
This
one.
pile.
No, it's that one.
Oh, you emptied
No.
it already?
Right, that's payroll.
Yep.
And these are warrants.
Yep.
What's that?
Yes. This is from her email.
She had a packet of other
So
stuff.
there's a few email things.
Yeah, I put it in front of you in a clip.
You want me to just go through them so you know what they are?
Ron, can you hand that to Steve?
There you go. So should we go through our packet, off the bottom, and just,
Probably easiest to go down, isn't it?
this thing is,
Well, this is part of it, right? So if you're gonna go through it. Jonathan, pass this to David, please.
He's got it.
it's just, yeah.
This is copies of.
So we talked about the mowing last time. Did we get bids or what did she?
Yes, it looks like, so Robert Burns from Winding Roads was 9,500.
Oh, I see what you're.
King's Property Maintenance was 25,000.
Cool.
And Dale Hunt was 29,322.
I'll make a motion that we go with winding roads.
They're the ones that have been doing it, right?
Right.
And
Same as
Now, does this
Sure.
include, this does include that?
No, he said he's gonna increase the Egypt cemetery, you know,
John,
the
how much was
additional
that
money,
Winding Road?
Yeah.
but he,
Kathy had highlighted 9,500.
Yeah.
On the top right,
but then I read down a little ways farther that he had to add in,
the new Egypt Road. Oh, but it was included, the third line down under Duffy Hill, Egypt Road will be $1,080 for 12 loads.
He said the same as last year, except that he added that he did.
And
If he
he
does
was
it for
answering
that, it's a
never
fair
happened.
bid, so I'll make a motion, we accept his bid for,
I second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
There's another one.
We've talked about plowing for the town, for the school. Looks like Maple Run paid the town $74.25 on May 7th of 2021, so they did invoice last year's.
Last year's. Cause that money is supposed to be kept in separate, under separate.
Correct,
For
and
that.
so she probably doesn't know that, that goes into the small truck equipment fund, to help pay for that small truck.
We talked about.
They
it
paid in May, so they need to pay again for the 2022 winter.
Yeah.
So Jimmy has that list of the plows, it's broken down between salt and sand. Already,
Just see if you submitted it or not, she was supposed to check on that.
and the template is on her computer, just updated to the new year.
Yeah. We really should be thinking realistically, what are we gonna up it?
Yeah, I agree.
Because the fuel prices are gonna be, that thing hasn't been upped in at least 3 to 4 years.
I can tell you how long, cause I did
Because
it
Melissa
until,
did it before.
I used to do it till Jonathan started.
I don't, where we go with the hour or just the job?
It was quite as, if I remember, it was 135 to do the whole thing, sand, plow and salt, or 75 to sand and salt. That's what we originally agreed upon, so I don't know exactly what it is at this point.
So we can just check with
When did
Kathy,
we
see
start
if
that?
she's got the numbers from.
Yeah.
Plow and 08 and 09.
And she can invoice it at the rates current, because we haven't given them
Right, but we didn't inform them we were gonna raise it, but like everybody else, there's a surcharge.
Yeah.
Everything else you get's got a surcharge on it for.
I mean, I would at least surcharge them extra for fuel.
Yeah.
Fuel's doubled from whenever we did that, within the last,
Do they have to agree to what we're gonna charge them?
Typically, we just invoice it and they pay it, but I would just caution.
I think
How
they-
much if you increase,
Right,
then
you can't be nuts, but I know they've checked other things and they wanted to make sure we kept doing it.
and it's close too, right? I mean, they get up first thing before school anyways, and they'll hit that loop real
That's their
quick,
first, that's their first duty,
Yeah.
to get that opened
How
up.
about if we, for the minutes, ask Kathy to research like the last time the rate was in a recommendation
Well,
for this.
Melissa's looking at it as we speak.
Okay.
Melissa did it before I did it.
Yeah.
But it was exactly like Gavin said, it was
But-
either based on the whole thing or just salt, just sand.
Cause they wanted extra sand and salting done, cause they had somebody one day slipped and broke their arm, one of the teachers. So that's when they said, if you want
that one's been signed out.
All, okay.
if you want just that, this is a rate for that.
Anyway, as long as we have that for next meeting, have the
Yeah.
invoice prep, so we
In
can look at it.
2012, it was 135 and 75. Isn't that what it is now?
I think that's what we've been billing out
So
at.
it hasn't been
It
changed
hasn't.
in the history of the world.
I would definitely bump it up.
So we're just
18,
getting,
19, same thing, 2018 to 2019.
so next meeting, let's ask Kathy to have the invoice prep, because it's not time to send it Yeah, still sanding and salting. So next time we'll look at it, see how much, and decide on
It was
what.
paid in May, right?
Right.
Like you said, it,
Right.
yeah.
So next time, let's have an invoice ready, we'll decide if we need to add a surcharge to it, what it is.
Same in 2010.
Oh. What's the third one? County discussion training school tax payment 2022 came out of memory, account number 24 instead of 10, resulting in misleading fund balance and general fund and print status reports. Spent hours with Nemrick learning how to print and utilize reporting tools to better understand our funds and balance sheet. Also spent time with Amanda to begin planning how to communicate about fund balances and status more effectively. Call the auditors for suggestion on correcting school tax payment.
Doesn't look like any action required.
Insurance. Yeah, spend an update on.
Any comments, John?
You constantly have to work on fund balances, and for select board members that aren't familiar with, that's municipal accounting, right? It's fund balances. It's not, some things are accrual, some things are not, right? So it's, municipal accounting is a little bit different than business wise, but you constantly have these fund balances, and your fund balance isn't necessarily supposed to be a checking account, right, for an example. So yes, you're gonna constantly have to make shifts and updates, and that's, so it's great. To me, that means that she's on the ball, she's talking to Nemrick, she's talking to Amanda, and that's what you want.
So, insurance audit complete, waiting results, nothing there. And then there's one on North Road planning with Randy Reed. How much does a road crew plan to do? How you doing, Bob? Good. Great timing.
You gonna do most of it?
What's that?
On North Road, whatever. How much, what, like, how much trucking we would do, something?
Yeah, I think she told me 11,000 yards to be moved.
To be dug out and then put back?
Is that what you had?
I didn't go figures.
Randy was supposed to, she said Randy was gonna come tonight.
Yeah, it said, yeah, her note to us is that Randy's sick, doesn't think it's a good idea to be at the meeting. He was planning to talk with us about the North Road project, and said he'd be happy to meet another time, sorry for the inconvenience.
We'll do it 2 weeks.
That makes sense.
Sure.
That's deep.
It is a deep structure, it's down there.
I'm sure you're gonna have to either bridge it or make a road down, right? I mean, you gotta, that deep, you're gonna have to cut it way back anyway so it doesn't collapse.
Right, Randy, yeah, it's you're cut ready.
Wall on top.
Half mile wide at top.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's-
Probably those cows are gonna have to learn a different route from the pasture over to the barn.
And I keep on one side,
Yeah.
I keep them on the upper side and
Coordination's
before
gonna
that
be
big
huge.
get done.
Do you wanna table that till next meeting?
And I would think we'd have to see if we could file.
Yeah.
If Randy's gonna help us run that.
Yeah.
I would think we would reuse some of it.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah,
you have a couple of years. I don't think that project has to be done this summer. You have a couple of years on that project.
Yeah, I would just rearrange Randy to come to the next meeting.
Sounds educated what we have to do.
I mean, that one's gonna be, it's very similar to South Road, right? It's the same type of grant, 80-20, so it's funded 80% by the state, 20% by the town. We can either utilize cash or we can utilize our highway department to provide in-kind match. So it's really, just Mo have the time and the resources to be able to assist. They did in South Road, they were there the whole time. So that,
So what do you, I guess, what do we use for, I'm just asking.
yeah,
What do we use for a rate per hour truck and man?
So all FEMA rates, all FEMA costs.
They're
I
all
was gonna say, I think it's all set.
They're set.
Yep, they're all set in stone. They're the 2019 rates is the last time that FEMA table was updated.
These are blue book rates,
I don't know if it's a blue book, but it's, so they're 4-digit cost codes, and so you specifically, like for their dump trucks, it's a tandem axle, so many cubic yard dump truck, and that gets a certain price.
Right.
But then you also can include their hourly rate plus fringe benefits, so including their retirements, their health insurance.
do we have that number?
We do.
So there was a question last meeting about the grant that we got was for $225,000. And
Yep.
the increase in the cost of just a culvert from when the grant first happened and was awarded at $225
box.
to now is like
Yep.
astronomical. Will that grant amount change?
No,
It won't.
no,
It is what it
it
is.
is what it is. Yep.
So it's not really 80-20, it's 225 and we pay all the rest, which could be 50% more.
I mean, the grant amount that was given to the town is not gonna change. So if we choose, and originally we were gonna go with a concrete box structure, that's what we planned out for it, just because of longevity and, but if that culvert price has doubled, then there's another alternative. You used what up on Peon?
Squash culvert with.
Squash culvert.
So the squash, was it steel or was it a,
Yes,
okay, so then there's
polycold.
poly-coated, I think I read minutes that this one might have been poly-coated, so there's other options, right? If that price is doubled,
But the grant won't increase.
the grant will not increase.
We're 80-20 on 225 and responsible for whatever's over.
Ken,
Correct.
is there any way to apply for some supplemental grant type thing because of this cost overrun? I mean, this thing.
That'd be a Jim Coda question.
Yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, you know,
Yeah.
the depth, the price of just getting the thing opened up to put it in place.
My
It's
initial-
crazy to go cheap on that thing and
My
think somebody else
initial
gonna
thought
be
is
dealing with it in 40 years instead of 100 years.
My guess is Jim will say your grant's good for 2 years, maybe wait till next year, see if prices come down.
Yeah.
Maybe he has extra money that I'm not privy to, because I don't work at these, so it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
But Jim Coda is gonna be the person you ask. He's the head of the
Who
St.
should
Albans.
ask him?
What?
Who should ask him?
Someone that knows roads and can, you know, if we have concrete box prices and we went to Ireland and they're double the cost, and so, but I think you're gonna have to justify it, right? He might just say, well, we looked at different culvert options, because the concrete box isn't the only structure that you can put in that ground. So, if we have researched other cost alternatives and they're still cost prohibitive and we're still gonna be at 300,000, then maybe he does have some extra money.
You
to
have
talk
some
about.
requirements.
What's that?
I have
Right.
the numbers.
Give
The
it.
original grant was for a concrete box at 75,000, and that concrete box is now somewhere between 142 and 185.
Say that again?
The original
No,
box,
what the new one?
142 or 185. Somewhere in between those two, I guess.
Did we
Yeah,
get
one's a 3-sided, one's a 4-sided.
Oh, that's right,
Did we
3-sided and
contact
4-sided.
Ireland Camp, the company in New
I
Hampshire?
don't know the answer.
So I mean, that also depends on their schedule too, right? I mean, if they're booked out till September and they can only squeeze one more box in, that price is gonna be skyrocketed. If you have a company that isn't so busy and can fit 3 or 4 of them in, then, I mean,
The poly-coated is 60
we just did 2
75.
blocks in Cambridge, they didn't come in at one.
Well, why don't we go out with a bid for this and see what a contractor, I mean, we
I think
can,
that's what Randy was, we were gonna talk to see what he would do.
So a complete price.
yeah, well, let's not,
2 ways you can do this too, right? And I'm not gonna say anything bad about this, right? So the way we did South Road Culvert is we bid the box ourselves as a town, okay? We contacted Camp Ireland and we chose which box we wanted. We arranged for the delivery. Randy was there and luckily Jeff Corey got the bid because Randy's part of that team, so it worked very, very well together. The 2 that we just bid in Cambridge, it was the contractor's responsibility. And again, Jeff Corey did it, and there was other local contractors as well, but you say, hey, let them price the box. This is what we need for a culvert, And whether we say concrete box or say poly coated, just let the contractors bid.
Did a local get the bid or was it a
It
company?
was a local, so, I mean, it's public knowledge, GW Tatro ended up coming in low bidder on both of them. Of course, they're a contractor in Jeffersonville, and so, but there was, Jeff Corey was second on them. So, I mean, you have, so there was some good competition. I think we had eight contractors, 8 or 9 for each.
Yeah.
So it was a really good turnout, and they were very similar. They all came in right around, I think 230, 240 was what this size structure came in at. So.
I think we'll just wait and talk to Randy.
Yeah.
Correct, so just, again.
So let's just table it tonight and let's get Randy in here and see.
You know, let him, if he wants to fool around with the bids, or, you know, get the design, put it out to bids, and then. So, I mean, 3 phone calls is not very hard to make for the culverts,
No.
but he might even do that.
Correct, and then you just kind of have to decide, like, are you bidding the box or your culvert separately? I think if you're doing the box, it makes sense sometimes because of just the price of it. If you're doing a small poly coated that's, 35, 40,000, why would you bid that? I mean,
Well, this one is 69,000.
yeah, same, 69,000, I mean, what are you gonna, Paul Johnson Hardware and a couple of, no, you're gonna put this out to contractors and let them find the culvert, right? You're just doing more work.
Make sure it gets delivered.
Yeah, maybe have them take care of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, for my personal, I wouldn't do a culvert.
I'd like to get one of those done down there right, so that the next bunch of us that are, you guys or whatever, still doing them, you don't have to go back to that.
Southbrook's perfect, right? You drive over that, it's not even, I mean, it's great.
Did a nice job down there.
It's, if Randy's gonna take care of the project for us, let's get him
Yeah.
in here and let's
Talk to him.
put him on point, have him run it, cause otherwise there's a whole bunch of people chasing our tails.
Yeah.
You just gotta put a plan together.
Yep. Let's stop this.
Yep. Go take care of them all.
Mars. Yep. Yeah.
Talked about the chloride tank. I didn't know where we do about buying one, put it in the big trucks, remember, probably 2 months ago, we talked about it.
What are we still using that, 1,000 gallon one in
Yeah.
back one of the dumps?
Back to the 550.
Yeah.
And these are the quotes, said a couple around it.
And you were hoping to put a bigger one and run in one of the panels?
Yeah, it was going right into the panel. It's a spray barrier with a hole in that bed. It's a tank and a motor and a pump, spray barrier and everything. 2,000 gallon tank.
Just keep the dust in. This is the same tank you brought in 2-3 months ago.
Yeah,
Installed,
something, yeah.
done. The advantage to that's just having a bigger tank, you can cover more.
Yeah.
So you don't keep running back, loading up, right?
Yeah, and, on the 550, go 700 gallons most with it, Unless you fall asleep and load them up, but you pump it back.
You sure you do?
You just, oh shit, pump it back.
Yeah. Well, definitely be easier on that 550. Not
Oh, yeah.
that way around all summer long, slushing around.
The 550 guys are in it. Between the winter time and all that.
I was gonna say, that's enough, more than we ever anticipated doing.
Just this one bid is all you got?
Yes.
Got all there is in it.
Yeah.
So you can tie it in the truck for all summer, you were saying?
Yeah.
You could maybe get an old one or something, or something.
Yeah,
What,
it's usually, you get out of it, everybody knows we get right weather, it's at least a month of chloride, straight in chloride.
yes.
Can you use the ARPA funds for that?
It's highway department related, I would say yes.
Definitely.
It's highway department related.
Yeah, definitely.
That one back.
Oh, I don't disagree with it, I think it's probably a good idea.
I would think, for me, I would just say go ahead and order it.
How much is it?
Yeah.
10,000.
Think it was.
10,164.
I think we have a credit with them, it's not much, I think it's like $100, but they might as well take it off. Did you haven't ordered anything from them in a really long time, huh?
Is there anything fancy about the setup versus building a skid? And just asking, just to ask.
It says what it is, you read it a little bit. and it's set up, it's on the,
Right, it's a skid so you can pick it up with a loader and bring it back basically.
Yeah.
But is it anything that James can put together or is it?
I don't know.
I'm
Yeah, I don't know.
not saying.
I can't, honestly.
Yeah. I assume
Well,
it's
it's not to be,
a tank on a skid with spray nozzles basically.
Spray bar.
it's all set up.
So what would you do with that one? That one's big enough where you could actually water the road first
Yeah.
before you put the chloride on?
Yeah.
That makes more sense to me.
For the ARPA fund, you need 3 quotes.
What's that?
You need to follow your procurement guidelines. So if your procurement guidelines set when they do, they set a price threshold, I don't know it off the top of my head, but if at that point it says that you need to basically
Seems like it's
competitively,
higher than 10,000 for 3 bids.
I think it's 50.
50.
I think 50 sealed, but I think between maybe 10 and 50 is 3 quotes. So you just have to look and verify.
How old is that quote?
December something.
Yeah, I bet they won't honor it anyways.
So maybe just grab a couple more quotes, but yeah, I would
Well,
definitely follow.
I'd like to
your-
make a motion that we have a bid for that piece of equipment with the intention to use ARPA funds to buy that.
It's actually, it's not.
And if Kathy has to go through the process before next meeting or whatever, but let's,
Is there 3 other people that produce that same product? I guess that's what I'm wondering.
Document phone calls.
Yeah. Just call.
Call Johnson Hardware and say, hey, is this something you have or know who has? And if he says, no, I have no idea, then document that you called Johnson Hardware at this time.
in accordance with the motion, in accordance with the bid procedures, so whatever that threshold,
But we wanna make sure we have an answer before the next.
But if at the end of the day, this is the only supplier, that's okay.
Yeah.
As long
You
as you
just
got
gotta show
you just
it.
gotta show.
And Norris, you can do that, right? Call Johnson and somebody else.
And I guess you could also call this bunch back and see is that thing still valid
That's
or
what I
not?
was gonna say.
Valid for 15 days. Nobody holds the number very long.
Not anymore, they
Yeah, I mean, the trucking's probably gone up that much.
don't. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
shipping and delivery fee for $611.
That'll
I say
go up.
probably 8,000 now.
What was I hearing on
I'll second that motion.
Yeah.
Okay. We take a vote on it, Tom?
Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye. Glad you got more.
Don't think anything. Both of the fellows came up on, Maple Ridge. Jewel Road, and
Yeah.
Chuck Thomas.
What was it?
Yeah, I can't say the guy's name, but Linda, he called Linda about it. He had to get a,
Fairmachio?
sounds like
I don't.
get a hole in the culvert there.
Oh.
But it's 29 feet from Center High Road, and it goes to his state, or whatever, Chuck Thomas, remember?
It's a private road.
That's what it said.
Do we plow it?
No.
We don't touch it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not our.
Cause I got a call, there was a sinkhole on Jewel Road, so I went up, there's a cone over it. When I went up, I see where it was, and we don't, the culvert pulled apart what it is.
Yeah.
You look down, you see it 6 inches apart. Plus the culvert itself is inlet and it is rusted. I mean, 8 down the bottom, so.
Yeah, that's their deal.
Okay, but he said he was gonna come to the meeting, so I think Linda's in on. Yeah, Linda comes in.
I think it's right there, covenant for that development, that's a private road.
Casey gives me a call, I just
Yeah,
wanted
say
to
it's-
make sure.
You're on private property, private road.
We're trying to reach out window, you know, it's, gotta tell them right away for one thing. But our water do go through it.
Right, but when they install it, they were responsible for putting it, installing it and maintaining it.
Yeah, that's what's his take on it. And he belongs to the fire department, whoever it is, you know?
Farinaccio?
He's
Good.
good.
Gino Farinaccio.
He said he belonged to the fire department. He came to the selectmen meeting here. What you guys talking about, your pad or something?
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole bunch in there.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
So if you give me a call, I can make sure that the board.
You wanna put a bump sign on Chester Arthur? You think it'll flatten out before you get to it? It's pretty bad right there in front of John and Candy's, right by the
I
rail.
was gonna say, whereabouts are you gonna put it?
I'm gonna say.
Bump all road.
104.
Yeah, say put it around here at the intersection.
Yeah, just say bump all the way.
Bumps ahead, and that's the
Yeah,
way.
all the way.
Yeah, I'm starting to find out.
That's
I
that,
thought we were working on it a little bit.
that's
They
the same
did, but
bump,
it's-
remember that Amanda's kid trashed his car on?
Right, well, that's the fun.
And she tries, it was before we dug it out.
It's not any better right now.
It's right after where the railroad tracks were, where it was
Yeah.
It's really bad.
right after that.
But it is, I went up the other day with the tractor,
It's
with my
really
tractor,
bad.
4-wheel and that little trailer. Okay, better slow this puppy down, about
Yeah.
10 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I watched somebody bottom out pretty hardcore on Saturday.
So, yeah, let's get some big ass bump signs all the way through there.
Well, I think we should have.
Um,
I mean, maybe it'll flatten out in the next week or two, but right now it's not.
They're starting to come way that way.
It'll be another, after this weather.
Get an extreme bump sign,
Yeah.
that's what maybe you need, extreme bump ahead.
So far, we've been staying ahead of the month. This weather helps you a little bit, tighten things back up.
The only road on Saturday, the only road that was bad is the town garage road.
Yeah, it's.
That's pretty bad. The rest of them weren't that bad, but that one was pretty rough.
So it must be bad where they're going across lots right up by
Yeah, La Pena.
La Pena over there. Two guys are hauling that way, so.
I mean, even like up by Brandon's, it's not that bad. It's really
No,
not, just
no.
that one.
Rug road,
Road road's got a few spots, but it's,
rug road, I got stuff.
You put some-
He's coming this way. with
you put
36
some
now.
gravel down
Chuck
on the road
Road.
last week.
Oh, yeah.
Stone.
It's coming
Yeah.
this way instead of going over the hill anymore.
So I gotta ask you,
Yes,
that stone we're putting down,
yes.
do you have any other options?
Why?
No, I mean, I talked to Eric, he said he talked to you a few times, I mean, that stuff has no binding to it, it's, you drive down the road, it's all in the ditches before we're done.
Right. You hit the first bump,
I mean, it's what we got to work with, basically, but,
Yeah.
but there's none where you can mix like driveway mix with it or any kind of thing like that, or fines.
Good,
I just know like that area when you go over Duffy Hill, Sheldon, Fairfield, by Roy's.
Yeah.
I don't care what you guys do, it looked beautiful, within the next day, it's like, what the hell happened here?
I mean, that rock, even when I worked down there, we played strings, the rock is too hard, there's no fines in it, that's why V-Trans barely lets it go, and that's only because they're paving over it. Cause you know, there's nothing to stick it together, so it's just,
They have some with dust, so.
no.
Yeah, I got
That
some.
sand does not make dust, I've run it. Not like a limestone quarry or a softer, you know, like a gravel that has sand or a little bit of clay in it. Not so much that it makes a lot of dust, but it doesn't pack. It just, you know, by our sugar house, my brother's
It's
got his
bad, it's
excavator
all
over
in the
there.
field there, it's bad.
My brother's got his excavator over there, he's like, well, I just go over there and scrape it up, I can fill the mud holes in at the sugar house with the dirt and
Cause it goes out far enough, go on his land out of right of way, so.
It's bad over there. It's worse there than a lot of places.
no, I mean,
Yeah, what we mainly do is put gravel on top of it.
yeah. I don't know what the answer is, or
I
just,
mean, this time of year with the mud, that's what you kind of want, is kind of more stones and sand, cause it just gets, you know.
Muddy.
right. I was just saying,
Yeah.
it's too bad to, you know, I watch you guys go by all day long while I'm sitting there. oh shit, 90% of that's gonna be in the ditch. Maybe not 90%.
I would say, I
But-
think they're higher than that.
Yeah.
You see them out testing the roadside ditches, days on top of it.
Yeah, see that there's real measured.
I don't know if it'd be worth getting after Eric some more, but
Well, Eric is working, trying to, cause last year we had the same problem.
yeah.
Washboard and all that, and you get it turned down a little bit more, and actually mix some with gravel. 20, I think 3 buckets of ledge and 1 bucket of gravel.
Yeah.
And we tried some of that.
Did it make any difference?
It helped some,
Yeah.
I think you gotta go a little stronger.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
And recycled asphalt, the best stuff we put on our roads. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
but you should mix that with gravel for
Yeah.
us.
Well, that'd be,
We did
that
have-
might be a good solution, because,
We did have
It's
Reynolds.
pretty hard to come by.
what's that?
It's pretty hard to come by.
I don't know, Eric, pretty good with it, I don't know if there's a way to mix it, or,
We did it on the Reynolds Road, and we just put that, we just said. And, once it hardened up, it was just like driving on blacktop.
it's unbelievable.
You gotta mix it with gravel, and I forgot the ratio was at, but you gotta mix it with gravel.
We gotta go back
again,
through and kind of dig
we do it
this
again,
in.
we're not put gravel with it. It does a good job. I
Can't
don't
grade
say.
it.
Yeah.
Too hard to grade.
Oh, yeah. One time we sprayed that road in rain. At least get
So
some
you still
stuff.
get limestone down the swamp, the
Yeah.
rock slides? Did you mix that kind of together?
Yeah.
A load of that, a load of Eric's stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know, that stuff, I know at the railroad, we couldn't use the limestone because it's packed too hard. But actually works, because they want loose stone.
Yeah, for drainage.
For drainage.
No, I think Eric's working on it, and I mean, I've heard a bunch of people bitching about it, and
Yeah.
seeing some, and it just,
Looked like he was making some pretty fine stuff the other day, dust was actually coming out of it.
Yeah, they've got, like I said, they tightened her up more, whatever. It was, 5/8 minus, and it's,
Yeah.
looked like it's that or a little lower. But he knows he got a problem with it, he's
Yes.
trying to get it where it won't.
I guess we could just
Yeah.
write him or give him feedback or whatever.
Yeah, well, I gotta talk to him. Just hopefully frost goes out slow, and we don't worry about him too much more about
Yeah.
it.
If you're running out of money in the budget, we'll be taking care of it.
Yeah,
Okay, you got anything else, Mom?
nope,
Everybody happy?
so far I guess.
That's the best way to have it possible.
Yep.
So what else we got?
RFP, for the clerk of the works for the down there.
Railroad, yeah.
Yeah. Looks like it's all in order, she's got it all done, the RFP's ready to go. Tyler said, do you need any help getting the bid out? I'd say, yeah, if you get some help getting the bid out.
Yes, absolutely, I would have him review it.
And he did
We
review it.
did,
Right, I'd have him review it, put it out, and
so
it's not out.
we have an account on the Vermont bid board, which meets the federal requirements. So I would recommend putting it there as well. In addition, I'm sure Tyler will direct send it to a few companies that he's familiar with and has worked with, but I would also, just by putting it on that Vermont bid board, you covered all your federal.
So we make a motion for Kathy to put the bid out and through the Vermont bid board and Tyler?
Yep.
You need a second?
Sure.
Second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Yeah. I guess the one thing I noticed on page 6, it references Amanda Forbes. And I would just have that changed to Kathy.
Which, friendly, yeah, so an updated motion to include updated on page, Article 5, page 6. Town of Fairfield.
Just so the board knows, this is a reimbursable cost as well.
The cyber?
Or no, the,
Clerk of the Works?
clerk
Okay,
of the works,
Yeah.
that is a reimbursable.
yes.
Yeah, there's some edits. It needs to be edited before we put it out. Excuse me. Cybersecurity. In research and based on conversation with Matthew shared cyber updates, he is recommending a pretty standard as far as security and backup. The LCP doesn't have a standard security suggestion, but offers a list of cybersecurity vendors that can offer cybersecurity audits to local governments. Thoughts?
Don't we have an automatic backup every night?
I don't know if it's every night, but we do have an automatic backup system.
It goes to like Rutland or something, or did.
That's Matt, but it is backup.
Yeah, in the cloud somewhere.
Yep. One thing I would recommend is a server. I mean, I know like our files are, I guess are backed up, but in Cambridge, we use a server. And I have like a town admin S drive that all my files are on. And here, they're kept in a folder on the desktop, and it's still backed up, but I don't know if that should be part of this. You know, what does it look like creating servers?
Well, so I'm confused, so if we back it up every night, we're doing it on a server, is that not the same as, how is
It's a question
Cambridge
from
doing?
Matt.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is recovering the data. Where it's on server, but they say you get your own drive in there, it's easy to access,
Yeah.
even if it's backed up.
And firewalls are big. I mean, we had an issue, again, this can happen to anyone, but it was in Cambridge, and it happens to people's personal emails. It's probably happened to the folks in this room where there was a person that contacted the Cambridge town clerk, claiming to be a select board member, and asked them to change their account information. It said the select board member's name in the email. So we called the select board member on the phone and said, "Is this you?" And he said, "No, I'm in my computer all day." So it is very, it's in our world today. I mean, this happens. So it's,
Yeah, so here's on that server question, Acros Cyber Backup Standard Server, 1-year subscription, $470. So it looks like we do have, you know, we don't own the server, but we're getting access to the server for the backup, tonight the backup. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we go with the budget as recommended, we use ARPA funds for that.
Do you have the cost?
yes.
There.
6,200 or something.
The word having Matt can tell us what we're talking about.
That's great. If you folks haven't met Matt, I would, yeah, Dave, I
Oh,
would
it was
encourage
six,
Matt to.
last meeting, we talked $60-some to his recommendations. Right?
Right, well, I think so, next week, and have our next meeting, and talk about it.
This is
See what our options.
Yeah, $6,260 on number 23.
that number's a lot different than this number.
Yeah, see right there?
Is that for cybersecurity?
Oh, it's in a minute, so it's what we were, a number we talked about.
Right.
Yeah, so we're making a motion for what? For this or for just the cybersecurity?
Well, in light of that difference from in light of the discrepancy between what's in the minutes for what a one-time cost. So it said the budget is 13K. We budgeted 13K. Yeah, well, we don't have to do it tonight, but let's,
Well, I think that cost there was an old estimate.
The 6,200.
Right, remember she had, she was supposed to give us an updated one for this meeting, but she probably,
Oh, this is it?
That's probably it.
well, I don't have your figures, if you got new ones, that's all right, I don't need it.
would you feel more comfortable, I'll withdraw the motion, say you wanna bring them in for next meeting, or you
Right,
wanna?
I would wait, let Matt come and Randy come, and we'll get this,
Matt's awesome, Matt was
That's
sitting there
great,
and talk,
Okay,
common sense.
I withdraw the motion, we'll invite him for the next,
That's
you
good.
know, at his next convenient date. But I know this is, we could use ARPA funds for it.
I don't know, maybe it's time to get the thing updated and safety done and whatnot.
Yeah.
I would think so, you know, this is not this area is becoming more of an issue, not less of an issue.
I would agree.
I don't think we're the target, but we could be collateral damage, you know,
Let's
like
like put a
somebody.
cover in, let's get somebody we work with, knows what we have, let's do
Somebody
it right
trust.
and not have to deal with it again.
But isn't this his document?
Yeah, this is from him.
Oh, I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. That's his,
that's not what I'm talking about. I don't know where this front page document came from, I assume it would be Matt, but.
And that's a different amount too.
The next.
Right, the second page is a different map. This is the government map.
Yeah, it's a Matt Bouchard.
well, let's have him come in, let's, for the minutes, let's invite Matt next meeting, we'll go over it and.
he's done work for us before, so,
Yeah.
and he's done work here, so,
It's great.
yeah. Okay. Anything else?
We got an executive session issue to discuss and get our guest on the road.
Wait,
I'll just make a motion to accept the warrant since we've all signed them anyway. So let's get that in.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Common school use agreement, they've looked at it, I've got to update it to add in your comment, I'll add in a couple of weeks for them to kick them out.
Yep.
I'll try to have that back for the next meeting to finalize and be done with.
How's that going? To get a lot of use out of the building?
There's always somebody over there.
Yeah.
Always.
That's great.
That's what we do,
No, I mean, you gotta make sure things are in place, but it's great that, you know, the town has it back and it's being utilized and versus just sitting vacant.
so kind of do an audit to. see-
Energy wise,
Yeah.
very important.
That next one that's in Johnson's here, new policies for green compliance. Is that something that?
No, that goes for East Fairfield, I think.
That pavilion.
Pavilion stuff. So that's something. I don't think she sent a draft or anything, so we're gonna table that. My suggestion.
Is there anything else before we go into executive session?
Well, do you want an update on the things that were on my list of things to do?
Excellent idea.
So you wanted me to send this, a message to the state of Vermont, District 8 about no salt on Route 36?
The lack of salt.
Right, that is not Jim Coda on the state website. So I sent it to the person who's in charge of District 8, who is. He didn't respond, so it doesn't really matter, but.
Should we give her John Wilkin?
Ernie Patno. So I sent a message to him on March 17th, but he hasn't responded. You also asked me to,
Does that mean we should have you send it again?
Did he receive it? Or, don't know?
I mean,
Doesn't
it
tell
went
you
to
that.
vermont.gov, it doesn't say whether,
But I know that if I talked to some people and say if they accepted it or if it.
no, not on an email. You also asked me to call the Vermont State Police about the dog neighbor issue, which I did do. And he told me, that until it rises to the level of a state police issue, they aren't able to do anything to assist us. They can't just waltz into someone's home without a valid reason. So they cannot be involved at this point. He suggested perhaps if there has been continued problems, that maybe a select board member would like to knock on their door. I spoke to the complainant on Saturday and he said since their latest interaction, there hasn't been an issue. So he'll keep me posted if there is a continued problem. He told me to tell the person that if there was an aggressive issue at any point, that he should call the state police and report it so there would be a record in case something happened further down the road. So basically he said, I can't do anything for you, but here's a few ideas.
Well, just for the record, he also documented formally the issue, and he said, you know, so it's a documentation. So
Yes.
I think it was a valid effort.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it's raised, and the state police said if there's a further occurrence, so that's a reasonable first response or second.
Right. He said the other thing that we can do is consider creating a leash law, you know, an ordinance that says your dog has to be leashed. The problem in that would be if we're stepping outside of state statute, then we have to be prepared to enforce, which is problematic. So, because we don't really have anything to enforce with.
Unless we deputize Dave.
I've done that before with somebody's son. Don't care.
So, I mean, the Facebook page works really well. Somebody picked up James's dogs up in front of the school yesterday, or the day before, I can't remember, and put a message on the Facebook page. I happened to open it.
quick.
And it was resolved really quickly. It's funny that I didn't even recognize the dogs when she sent me the picture. It's like, whose dogs are those? And I should have known because those two are out all the time.
Yeah, because it was nighttime, Cindy and I were coming back from Burlington.
Did you see them too?
Guy kept blinking his lights and we're kind of thinking, okay, what the hell's going on? Well, then it popped back out of the ditch.
Yeah, well, she picked them up.
She did.
She picked them up, put them in her car, and went to St. Albans so she would have service on her cell phone, and just sat in a parking lot in St. Albans and communicated with me until we figured out whose they were, and then we got in touch with James and had him meet her in the city and pick them up. So it was resolved very quickly.
Very fast.
I mean, it's what social media is good at. The other thing was the issue with trash. There was that discussion about a landlord-tenant dispute with trash. So I did what you suggested. I went and looked. There's no public health issue because it is remote. I mean, there's nothing in the statute that says you can't live in trash. There's no trash outdoor
I was
evidence.
just gonna say externally.
It's beautiful. It's very well kept.
I
It's
kept an eye on it the
beautiful.
other day, when I was driving by.
It's very well kept. So I sent them both a letter with the part of the rental housing code that says who's responsible for what. And the bottom line, it's the landlord's responsibility to make sure the trash is removed. So, unfortunately for him, that it's his issue. She's supposed to be responsible for trash in all areas that are occupied by her alone, and he in areas that are public. But the bottom line is the landlord's responsible, so. The alternative, he could ask me to do a health inspection, but that health inspection is 7 or 8 pages long, and I can't do just a small piece of it. I would have to do the entire rental, and he may find that to be more problematic than, I mean, I've been on the property, it looks lovely. So I have not heard back from either one of them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think those were the only things I had to do.
Thank you. So I guess all we have left is executive session.
You have anything wrong with it?
Nope.
Even though-
I don't.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session.
I'll second it,
Personnel issue.
I'll second it, so get it going.